Got in the back that we're going to show you in a little bit. This cockerel right here is number 8, Blue. He is the brother to the Andalusia, the rooster that's in the poultry press in my ad. His father was 9th cockerel. And he is half Hollywood and half Mohawk, but has more of the Hollywood traits. And he is a crower. When he gets wound up in the morning, he can crow anywhere from 7 to 10 times a minute. The rooster that just crowed was his daddy, 9th cockerel, who's in another building next door. I've had these birds in these pins pretty much all morning. Well, they've been in the pins for the last 4 days, but they've been out in the sun, shaded. But this heat down here gets so hot, it dries out their feathers, makes them curl. At least I got them cooped up to where I can let you get a look at them. I've got another brother that his number is number 5, and he's got a little bit shorter back bird, but he's running around the yard here somewhere. And I'm going to get a shot of him in a little bit. Let's see if we go back over here to number 40. I'll see, zoom in on him a little bit. He's pure Hollywood. When he was in his prime a few months ago, he looked like Billabarn Farms' cockerel of 1952, the bird I've been having in my mind for the last 5 years. And when I saw this chick at about 3 weeks old, 2 weeks old, I knew I had something here. And that's why when he drowned on me during a rainstorm and just died in my hands, I had to do everything in my power to try to keep him. So next year we're going to use him as a breeder, and he's got a perfect wing, which I hope will bail me out of trouble with my pullets that I've got this year. If anything, my pullets are a little bit too much pepper in the wings. I've extended my black in the wings a little bit too much. And it's like Kenny Bowles told me, you'll know sooner or later that you got too much black. But I think if I made some of these pullets back to him, he'll straighten me out. He's got great feather quality. He's not a real big fighter. He's fairly gallant, but I've got some birds around here that won't take no lip off nobody. Let's see, we go back over here to number 8 again for a few minutes. But when this bird was younger, he's about a year old now, he was magnificent. And he got a little bit frostbitten during the snowstorm, and I've got another little brother in the back I'm going to show you that I think is going to even be better than these guys. He doesn't have the breast on him, but as a cockbird he should fill in and be a beautiful cockbird. Okay, we're going to shut her down here. There's no shredded feathers over their back. That's pretty true of the Hollywood gene. Their feathers are so strong. I'll go back to the king over here. 9th cockerel's about 2.5 years old. He molted back, and he looked as good as he did when he was a cockerel. A little shy in the breast. That don't mean nothing. The gene pool that he carries around has got everything going for it. All his offspring have been outstanding. Oh, he's going back in the barn to give some trouble. Let's go to the back. I got me a rooster here in the grass. I don't know really who it is. Could be sleepy. Got another New Hampshire I got in a fattening pen here. Yeah, that's sleepy, taking off, going back. He's going to go into trouble if he goes in there. And there's the other 2 roosters, number 40 and number 8. A little bandy rooster that I hatched off in October that I'm keeping away from the rest of the birds. He may make the final cut, I don't know. These are some of my bantams. This little rooster is about 3 years old. He's going to go in with that little pullet that I got from Leroy. who has given me so many beautiful chicks this year. I've mated her to 2 other cockerels, and this will be her 3rd mate. And then what we'll do next year is interchange the offspring with each mate hen to the pullets of the 2nd rooster. I didn't use any of these pullets this year, or hens. I was going to use them as for broody hens. They don't have the type that I'm desiring, or the surface color. But he's got nice type. Throws good chicks. See if I can get a little close up on him. There he is. Pullet there don't have too bad a type. But you talk about a flashy rooster, this guy, he's flashy. He rules and he beats up the big birds. They come up here and want to try to get on his little pullets, he chases them off. If I can just get some darker color and more length of body on his offspring, I'll have some pretty good bantams. I didn't know he was out, but he's out. This is Andalusia. He's about a year, 13 months old. He's been in the breeding pen now for about 2 months. And that's 9th cockerel's son, and brother to number 5 and number 8. And a couple of good pullets that I've got. When he was in his heyday, like he was in the poultry press, he was right on. Beautiful type. He got kind of messed up with that snowstorm. He got his comb frosted good, but he survived. He's a warrior. And as you can see, he's got a nice green tail. He's been out in the sun all day. He's dried up. The best time to photograph these birds is in the morning when they come off the roost and they've had a chance to get their oils back in, their feathers. I'm sending you eggs from him, and he's thrown some gorgeous chicks. I'm going to show you some of those chicks in a few minutes in the back. I've got, I think, a look-alike just like him. Got a little chick. That rooster you see in pin 2 to your left, that's his brother. I think his number is 63. He lost his wattles to the freeze. He was a real warrior. I couldn't catch him. He was so ornery and wild the night of the snowstorm. He slept out in the snowstorm. And he got up the next morning and he didn't think there was nothing of it, but it torqued his 5-point comb and screwed his wattles up real good. He's got a fantastic top line and a back. He's just a little shy in the breast, but I think as a cockbird he'll be dynamite. The females in the pen, the one on the right is a Hollywood female, and the female on the left is Miss Silverhill. She's the mother of all these Hollywood birds. And he wanted in that pen so bad, and they wanted him in there too, and so I said maybe this is what nature wants. So I've been putting these eggs in the incubator. I got a feeling it would be a good click. Andalusia right now, he's up against 2 females that could possibly be yours. That's pin 1. Now I'm going to swing over. That's 99 right there, which I'll get a better look at. I have to get away from that tree, a little bush right there. He's been in a breeding pen since about January. He's been on and off. I had one stretch where I didn't have very good fertility, but he's been pretty good. Rick Gustafson had hatched a whole bunch of chicks from him that I'd sent to him out in North California. Okay, let's go and get a better look from another side. In front of the pin 1 right here. As you know, I have a 50-foot by 50-foot section completely fenced, top and sides, and 10-foot sections in between. So it gives me a run of about 10 feet by 50 feet covered, so nobody can get in there and hurt my chickens. And then next year I'm going to have a semi-monitor barn, chicken coop, which will be 16 feet by 50. And I'll have plenty of room in there for the birds. I'll have room in there for cockerels to be in there, extras. just to keep, you know, a place for him. And then I intend to take the rooster out once a week, like on Saturday, and put him in a pen, a wire cage, so that he can have a rest and load him up with some wheat germ and cod liver oil and all that stuff, and give these girls a little break. Now we go back to pin 2. That shows you that cockerel. You've seen his snapshots I've sent you, the colored prints. He's the one that looked kind of immature. And I finally remembered in my mind a few days ago, 9th cockerel was just like him, very slow maturing. And it kind of worried me. I wrote Mr. Reese and told him about it, and I said my best bird just hasn't crowed, ain't doing nothing, and all of a sudden in about 2 or 3 weeks when I put him with some females, his testosterone started going, and he went to town. He grew up to be a great sire and a great bird, crowing like crazy. So I think this young fellow will do the same. One of my worries was he only had one testicle, and that's why he was slowly maturing. But I got fertility out of him, so I know he's not sterile. You can see, we can zoom in a little bit on Andalusia with his back and everything. This bird's got everything, except he's dried out right now in the sun, and he'll be going into a molt probably in a few months. I can't wait to see what he'll be like when he's a cockbird. I think he's going to be awesome. You can see the level top line of that cockerel in pin 2 and his tail. He's got a perfect 5-point comb. And this year we got many cockerels and pullets with 5-point combs, and we got one cockerel that's got a 3-point and a 4-point. And we're hoping to use them next year to straighten out some of the females who've got 7, 8 points. There's a female in front of him right now, and I can't tell through the viewer what it is. I think it's a Hollywood. It could be Caesar's sister. I can't tell. She's out here with him too. And that's One Eye's daughter. I'm trying to look, and the viewer I've got on this camera is black and white. I don't know if yours is like that, but I hope I'm doing as good a job as you and John do with the cameras. The first time I've ever photographed with a movie camera or a VCR. I've only used the Honeywell Pentax with my zoom lens. Let me swing over here. I see out of the corner of my eye a nice pose. Yep. Oh, and that looked nice, Dennis. Just about like he did with the picture in the poultry press. A lot of people think he's not level, because in the poultry press picture he tilted down on me, but that was a 10-second picture. I set him up on that deep freeze, I got him posed, I looked out of the corner of my eye, and he snapped the picture. Looks pretty good right now. Now if I can only get 5 or 10 more like him. I believe I've got about 5 chicks that have his fast feathering early development characteristic, the type. And the Lord knows the people that I gave eggs to this year should have that chance with the hatches they have. Swing back over here and see what this hen looks like. See if she'll... Now you can see she's been in the breeding pen since November. She doesn't have one feather on her back lost due to mating, where the male's legs, toes dig into the back. That's the good feather quality characteristic that I found in this, what I call the Hollywood gene. You can see she's got pretty flat back and nice type. I've got about 5 females like her on the farm here, and we have, I think, 6 farmed out that may not be in that category of her, but they really look great. After I gave them to a friend of mine and she took care of them, I couldn't believe I came back 2 months later and couldn't get over it. We have a sister to her that got hit by a school bus. We have a little dirt road that goes by here, and she got hit by a school bus one day and lost all her tail feathers. She just kept on running around thinking nothing of it. She was awesome. She's gorgeous, and she'll be used in our mating next year. She's still got that great feather quality over her oil gland area. Now we'll see now Now you see how he stands on one leg? I think he was. This is what his grandpa did, high stepper. High stepper was a male bird that would stand on one leg. And I've seen several cockerels out here in the back that are 2 months old who've got that same characteristic. They'll stand on one leg for 3 to 5 minutes. As you can see, my grass is real high right in here. I didn't mow it. I'm trying to raise crickets. And if I can't get any to come pretty soon, I'm going to go buy me about 200 or 300 and sprinkle them around. Usually by now I have crickets everywhere. That's what gives me my high protein feather quality. They eat enough. They eat crickets and their grass and their feed, and now I'm going to start feeding them wheat like you do. If I can't get the crickets going, I'm going to get me about 5,000 earthworms and give each one of the baby chicks 5 or 6 worms a day. I mean chicks, the 2 and 3 months olds. He's wandering down the pathway where the kids are on free range back there. Hopefully you're getting a pretty good shot of him. I'm going to zoom in on him a little bit. I don't know what it's like in the shade. If he's coming out all right, we'll find out later. At least I got him on live film for you to look at instead of a picture from a still camera. I don't know if they're going to perform for me or not. I don't have anybody here to help me tease them with bread or anything, but that's 99 in his harem, pin number 1. Probably next year he'll be head of pin number 1 again. These females are basically the Mohawk females, and I've got a couple in here that didn't, I don't like their feather quality. Of course, he has great feather quality like Twisted Sister. This is his brother. And you may be able to tell by their backs. They're getting dug out. I think there's a female right dead center right now in front of me. That's one of your females, Dennis, I think. She came through the, there's another female to the left. Then the female that's on the right in the center of the screen right there, you can see how her back was all torn up. She's only been in the breeding pen about 2.5 months. She's a Mohawk, but had very poor feather quality over the back area, but gosh, did she have type. I don't know what her offspring are going to be like, but I hope that it'll turn out all right. You never know. I found out what you see is not always what you get. You may have a bird that don't look too hot, like Sleepy, and you'll end up throwing off great birds. But I've had great looking birds like 99 and Caesar, and they throw good chicks, even though they're handsome looking birds. I love this bird. He's got great type. Tail's a little bit long. That is, his tail coverts is a little long, but once I cross his daughters on with, say, number 5 and number 8 and 40, the Hollywood roosters, I'll be able to tone that down. It'll take me another 2 or 3 years to straighten this out. If I ever get it straightened out, I don't know if you ever do. See, I get a little zoom lens up there. That little shelter I got them in is just a little 4-foot by 4-foot shelter I made for the baby chicks last year. I needed something for these birds to go into to lay eggs. It'll just have to do until I can build the barn. We've got a barn that we're tearing down. It's about a 50-year-old barn, so once we rebuild the poultry house, it'll look like about a 1930 semi-monitor poultry house with old wood. Everything on this farm is going to be like the 30s, if I can. The only thing that's not old is these treated posts I put in here and the wire, but hopefully this will give you a little idea of him. I've not been able to give you any decent pictures of him. There's Andalusia on the outside. They seem to get along pretty good. There's not been any real nasty fights. That pullet outside there with Andalusia, that's that Hollywood pullet, I believe, looking at her back. It's got a beautiful green tail. I'm sure you can see through the viewer, there's some of your pullets here I can't tell right now. It's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon and the shadows from the sun. I think this is one of my Mohawk girls from last, that's Andalusia's sister right there. There's one of these girls I'm going to keep, and one of them I'm not going to fool with. What I do is I farm them out to people, and then if I goof up and make a mistake, I can always go back and get them off there. They're using for laying hens. I've got some more females farmed out that you have never seen. I'll tell you a story about that in a little bit. I never told you the secret about one of my matings I have from Wisconsin chicks that I raised when I lived up there. Let's see if we can get some more birds from another pen. Still in pen 1, but right now what we're doing, we're trying to get some photos of that cockerel. And that it went in there to old pen 2 with Miss Silverhills and this Hollywood pullet. She was in with Andalusia, and evidently she didn't want to be in there with him no more. She crawled under the fence and got in there with Miss Silverhills and was laying all her eggs in there. So I never did fool with her. I just left her in there. She's a smart chicken. That's what I breed for, intelligence. A lot of street sense. I think you can, if you can see through the pen, I hit the off button on this thing. This is a pretty nice camera looking through here now. I finally found the trick so I can see what I'm doing. I wonder what Arthur Schilling would think about me out here taking pictures with a VCR. We got the whole gang in the corner right now. Let's see if we can get a picture of Miss Silverhills. Miss Silverhills was the original daughter of Lady Hollywood, my original 6-year-old hen that I got from Dry Creek Farm, which is, I believe, the daughter or sister to the famous 6-year-old cockbird that Pecker had at his farm that he showed me in that single mating that he had with a real hot Mohawk-looking pullet. He was the greatest cockbird I think I've ever seen in my life. These kids are all ancestors from him, and what I've been looking for in my chicks is those traits that I saw at Mr. Reese's farm back in 1990. Lady Hollywood had the finest feather structure of any female I've ever seen. However, she was light in color, and some of her chicks and grandchildren are not as dark as you would like, but that's the sacrifice you get when you get the feather quality. I'd rather have feather quality over color. Color you can get down the road in time if you breed properly. Hopefully you're getting a pretty good view of these kids. He'll be a breeder for next year. I might have 5 to 6 breeding pens, and I already got in my mind for about 12 matings, 6 single matings of cockerel pullets, stud mated. Looking at these chicks out here, I've got several matings already in my mind, and I've got those other Hollywood hens, pullets, at about 10 miles away. I've got 12 of them over there, and I've got three pullets that are now hens, and a hen that's about 3 years old. It's farmed out at a doctor's house just for laying hens. One of the pullets is ninth cockerel's sister. So I guess what I ought to do is mate that hen to Andalusia, or this cockerel right here in pen 2. She was a knockout. But last year when I had to move out of my, or a year and a half ago, I had to move out of my house because they sold the property. I had to get rid of these birds in a hurry. I only had about 9. And so I farmed her out. And the reason I didn't bring her back is she had stringy feathers over the oil gland area, but as a hen, she's probably got perfect feathers right now. She was a beauty. As far as I know, she's still alive. I didn't use her this year in any of our matings. I never could catch the people at home. She's a pediatrician. Let's see if we can swing over here and Get a picture of 99 from the back. He's got nice width of back. I think I've sent you the photograph of him eating and drinking water or something with just the back shot. You want that back to be even all the way down. And like you say, you want a 4 fingers width between the legs. They're behaving pretty good. I think you're getting a pretty good shot. Let's see if I can back up just a few steps. Hopefully the sun won't play games with the... Oh, there's that one pullet right in front of us. He's got pretty nice type. She's Mohawk. You can see the length of back, that nice black tail. See if I can just scan on her for a few minutes. I can get the zoom lens to work. I think I'm going to keep her. You noticed her back isn't all laid up. She's drinking water right now, I think. Yep. I think we got about 4 or 5 pullets out in the yard out here. I'm about ready to show you that look like her from studying her pictures from last year and what I remember in my mind. She was a beautiful pullet. Wouldn't show worth a flip in the show coop. She was scared, her tail was down. I think I told you about her. She on the yard she was a knockout, but in the show coop she wouldn't perform. She was scared stiff. Okay, we're gonna get out of here. The free range with the babies. It's pretty hot out here right now, and I got them out of the shade. I can't really tell who's who and what's what. I think number 30 is jogging along right there. That's half Caesar, half Dennis Meyer's pullet. Yeah, I love him. He's very friendly. He's been, you can see he's got nice type. I'll know more about, he's about 3.5 months old. There's a pullet that's I think can't tell from this viewer. It's one of the little banny roots. And we've got some kids coming in now. Looking out of the corner of my eye, some of my bantams. That's a Hollywood chicken, a rooster right there. His tail's not developing. They track funny in their feather tracking. Some shoot out green feathers and some don't, and you think, well, I'm going to put these guys in a deep freeze, and then all of a sudden, in a couple of months, out they start shooting. Oh, I lost my scan right here. I'm shooting directly almost into the sun. I see somebody down here. That's one of my oldest cockerels. I plan to show him in October at the Mobile Fair and Pensacola Fair. And that's his kid brother, who's about 2 weeks younger than him. Seemed to have pretty good everything going for him. There's a little pullet right there, Dennis. I don't know if that's a half bantam, half large fowl or what it is, but she's short in the tail. I'm turning around right now. Let's see if I can get a shot of these boys. They're walking. They got pretty good combs. They got nice green tails. They got the black quill color. They've got the necessary black in the wing, actually too much. He'll make a good showbird. I won't breed from him, I don't think, but he's got some hidden things in him that I can't use in my breeding. Let's see, this is his kid brother. This is, I think, the second chick I hatched this year. See if I can These are some little kids that just came walking up to me. They're about a month and a half old, I guess. Let me see if I can... That's one of our little Mickey Mouse rain shelters that we put up. I put some visqueen plastic up last night around it. It was supposed to get down to about 45, and thank goodness it only got down to about 55. That's cold for down here. You can see there's a... Where is he at? There he is. There's one with green tails shooting out. He's not even 2 months old and he's already got his green feathers out. That's a Mohawk trait. He's Andalusia's baby. And then there's a little pullet right down here that is Andalusia's baby. Her tail feathers are already shooting out. I think this here is one of your crosses. I don't know if that's Stilts and a Hollywood female chick, or that's Caesar and a Dennis Myers pullet chick. That's one of the, I know that's one of your birds that's got half Dennis Myers. There's an interesting chick. That's a half Leroy Jones E.W. Reese Bantam. It's got a tail like a game Malay or something. But boys, he got color. I don't think I'll keep him as a breeder, but I'm going to farm him out to a friend of mine with one of my old hens, my 3-year-old Bantam hen. But boy, that cross of Leroy Jones onto this Reese blood gave me some Bantam color I was shooting for and more length of body. There's some more offspring. From these babies, I told you I was going to send you 1 or 2 that are half Caesar, half Dennis Myers pullets. I can't tell you from right now who's who and what's what because I can't see their leg bands and everything, but I'll keep one that I think he'll do the best job for me, and I'll share you with 2 with you. Let's see if we can go up here and we're zooming in on some, these are the youngest of the batch. I got another 20 in the garage with some white Plymouth rocks that I got from Jim Volk out in Seattle, Washington area. And these are the youngest ones. I think they're about 4 or 5 weeks old. I'll keep 2 out of these, and then I'll sell the surplus chicks to people who want them. I only keep about 3% of what I raise because I've got matings in my mind for 2 to 3 years down the road, and I breed for genes. I don't really breed for mass production. That's why I love these single matings of 1 cockerel to 1 pullet, and then raise 10, 15 chicks, and then take the cockerel out, put his brother in for 2 months, and then mate the pullets of cockerel B back to Uncle A and vice versa, and that's what I call my uncle-niece matings. You can get unbelievable breeding power by breeding your aunts to your nephews and your nieces to your uncles. Breeding daughter to father is okay, but I think that the best matings is uncle-niece. You can take a tail off of 1 rooster and put it on another rooster by the use of a neutral pullet or hen. I'm going to go up a little closer, Dennis, to see if we can get a better. I'm shooting into the bushes right here, Dennis. I don't know if you can see them or not. Where are they at? There they are. I don't know if you can see them or not. I got a cockerel on there. And Leroy Jones pullet, who is beautiful as can be. Those are the ones I've been hatching. The purplish gene. It's the Leroy Jones pullet that's throwing this gene, I believe, and that's the chicks are actually blue or purple, and they're dark. And I call this, my new line is going to be called the vermilion line. When the sun goes down about a half an hour before sunset, the color on that Leroy Jones pullet has an appearance of vermilion hue. This is a lost gene, goes back to the 30s and 40s from the beginning of the Rhode Island Red Bantams, introduced by not Leroy Jones, but Ernie Jones, rose comb, runny pullet to Ralph Knickerbocker and Perrin Johnson's original Bantams that they did. And I think Leroy got this from Tom McLaughlin, and Tom McLaughlin got this from Bob Purvis in Florida, who was swapping birds back and forth with Kenny Bowles back in the 60s. So I'm playing with this gene. Okay, we're now shooting on these other kids. I'm going to take you over to another pen which I've got all my pets in that I've kept. What I did this year is I hatched 10 chicks and kept the best 1 or 2 that I thought, and put little bands on their legs. I had told you about that on the telephone, and trying to see if I could predict what they're going to look like in type before they're 2 months old. So far I'm about 85% correct. But I think what it boils down to is these are the movers and shakers, the ones who feather fast and what you call lookers. Oh, there's a little banty coming out, a little cockerel. Can you see him in the middle of the viewer? He's going to be gorgeous when he grows up. I've got 3 cockerels that are from that mating I just showed you under that tree there. I don't know if it came out or not, but they are spectacular cockerels. Remember I told you I was just about ready to give up Bantams. I lost interest in them. But, oh man, that gene from Leroy Jones is driving me baffy. Who's down here? Hey kids. Say hi to Dennis Myers. And whoever else is going to be watching this someday. I think that guy right there on the far right is a Andalusia's baby with his tail shooting out. It's remarkable they do this at such a young age. Let's go to the other side of the range and see the other chicks. Man, they're all over me. They're down at my feet, Dennis. They want something to eat. I haven't fed them. If I can pick out a few birds for you to look at. Oh, here's one. I can get her in my viewer for you. That's one of your half. She just got pecked on the head. She's going to grow up and be a beauty. I'm thinking about mating her to Sleepy. She has got vigor. Of course, we've got a cross of blood that hasn't been touched in 10 years, so we got vitality to the max. Oh, is that my little cockerel right there? Yeah. He finally came out of the woodwork. That's one of my little October Bantam cockerels that I'm really tickled with. He's going to be one of our breeders for next year. I think that's him. You see his wings? Where is he at? There he is. Boy, trying to talk and look in his viewer at the same time is not easy. His wings poke down. So what I plan to do is build him a fly pen, which will be 5 foot tall, 4 foot by 3 foot. I'm going to put his feed and water up on about 4 foot up in the air, and he'll have to fly up there to get it and see if I can strengthen his wings like the fighting cock guys do. There's another pullet of yours, half and half. And that's another one of your 50-50 batches. They run and they run and they run. Over here under that pine tree is my all-star team. I don't know if I can get some decent shots. These are the kids that I think are going to really help me out next year in my breeding program. And then if they all came to my feet when I got out, they're hungry. There's a little bantam down there. I don't know. I don't think that's the old man. That's the second cockerel that I have in there with Leroy Jones' pullet. He's been running around. He's a little bit overweight from being cooped up in that bandy pin. There's a pullet right there I wanted to show you. I think that's Andalusia's daughter. That's a nice looking bird right there near that bantam. It's a cockerel, yeah. Got some over there. I planted some little trees from the woods to try to give me some shade for these guys. These are a weed type tree, a willow. Okay, I see a cockerel. Maybe I can zoom in on these guys. Yeah, he's grown. I didn't realize he got so big. This guy really has grown like crazy. This is Andalusia's baby, I believe. Maybe I'll get out in the sun. You can start seeing the type showing up on these guys. Got all the tools to be a great cockerel. I think these chicks are about 2 to 2.5 months old. Something like that. Let me show you a little bandy pullet. Where's she at? There she is. That, I believe, is the little chick called Mouse. It was my first purple chick. I think it's a cockerel. Oh, I can't wait to see what it's going to be like. When I took him out of the incubator after he was about 12 hours old, I brought him in the house to show my wife. I said, look at this chick. And he climbed up my arm from my palm all the way up to my shoulder, like a mouse. And he was gray and blue like a mouse, and I called him Mouse. And he is so dark as a baby. And usually, in bantams anyway, the darker the fluff color, the darker the surface color. And I hatched a couple of days ago a little chipmunk, I call him, and it's 3 stripes down the middle of the back, and that's like his mama that I was. We call her Little Leroy, Miss Leroy, and so every time I see a chick that's got that dark color, I know it's hers. We got her mated with another pullet that lays a different type egg, and we try to separate the eggs. And that's the only thing I've been raising is bantams, is just that pair with that one cockerel. And then Leroy's sending me some eggs in about a week, and so I'll have maybe about 20 eggs, and if I get 6 or 8 chicks out of that, I'll have the gene I need from his birds to do the stuff I want to do and play with his strain. So I'm not just a large fowl nut like everybody thinks I am. That's all I care about is large reds. I do care about bantams, waterfowl. I just can't get excited about naked necks, frizzles. This is little guy that has a band on his leg. That meant that if they had bands on their legs, they were superstars. His baby chicks, that means they had fantastic brick shape and width of back as 10-day, 2-week-old chicks. He don't have much tail shooting, but I bet you in about 2 months his tail will come flying out. Here comes one of the old boys from January. I'll have to take him, put him in a special pen pretty soon. He's going to get sexually active. Here comes that banty rooster. I can't tell. Yeah, that's the daddy. That's the sire to mouse. That's the whole breeding pen right there, if you can see it. It's Leroy Jones's bird. Where's she at? She's on the left of that little cockerel. It's supposed to be a large fowl videotape, but and then that one is a Leroy Jones style pullet, and he is Leroy Jones style cockerel. Seems like I got better male birds than I do females, but it's the females that throw the great cockerels. I like this guy. He's flashy. He was hatched last June as an experimental mating, and to see if raising the chicks through the fall and the winter would make a smaller chick due to the lack of sunlight. I think I see a pullet right in the middle. She just went under the tree. You see that? That was Andalusia's pullet, who I think is going to be just outstanding. When a chick looks that foxy looking when they're only 2 months old, you know when your bones are going to be superstars when they grow up. She's coming back out. Can you see her under the bough of the pine tree? I've got her just about dead center in the viewer. And she's right around that blue feed bucket. And she's getting ready to stand on it. Notice how high she is in her legs. Yeah, I think that's a pullet. I'm trying to shoot and look out of my left eye at the same time. Oh, here's one I see, another, her sister. Where does she go? There she is. That chick's only about 5.5 weeks old. Maybe 6, I don't know. Gosh, she's small. She's from a pullet. But boy, she got tight. This is 9th Cockerel's granddaughter, and either Andalusia or 99's the father of this chick. I can't tell if she's who. You know, I have to look at her toe punch or a wing band. Those are the kind of pullets that get you excited. And all you need is 1 or 2 like that. You can build a strain around a bird like that. She's got her legs dead center, I believe. Some of my pullets this year, their legs were further back in their body. It makes they can still maintain their balance, but they're not true center. And they throw their cockerels. When you mate them, they make cockerels at a rainy day. So this year I'm not going to keep any pullets who don't have their legs dead center. And eventually in 2 or 3 years we'll have a strain of birds who have flat backs and have their legs dead center. And then maybe I can figure out how to breed for color someday. See if we can scan over here and see some more. There's some kids right down in here. Hopefully the bright sun won't foul everything up. There's 2 little baby Leroy Jones chicks. Now let the bantams and the large fowl mingle together. They hatch together, they're raised together. You can start seeing this guy is growing like a weed. His green tail feathers are starting to shoot out. He's probably about 5.5, 6 weeks old. And that beetle green tail feathers shooting out, that's a trait from 9th Cockerel. When he was a baby like this, all those tail feathers just came out at one time, just green, just came flying out. So I expect these cockerels to have great tails. If they don't stay. I think last year I raised 45 cockerels and only kept 4. Well, maybe 6. I kept the later hatch ones. I hatched number 5, number 8, and another brother who has a short back called number 1. Those superstars only came out of one clutch of eggs out of Miss Silverhill's 9th cockerel. So I think she laid 4 eggs in 7 days and produced me 3 superstar cockerels. I think you can see a little cockerel bantam right there in front of me. It could be mouse, I don't know. That cockerel that just entered the viewer could be the last of Caesar's babies, I can't tell. Well, Dennis, I guess it's about time to close her down. And I'll get this off to you Monday, and we'll share this with some of the other people that I've promised a tape to, and hopefully this will give you an idea what this Hollywood Mohawk line is down here in Silver Hill, Alabama.